Witch in Charm's Way, a cozy mystery audiobook, written and narrated by R.K. Dreaming. Part 33. Chapter 18. The Best Laid Plan. "Set a trap how?" said Jasper. "They'll never confess," said Allegra. "Whoever did it has as good as got away with it already." "We'll have to lure them in by saying that we've got the murder weapon," I said. "We can't tell them that," said Allegra. "That's giving our trump card away." "It's the only bait we have to make them come," I said. "After that, somehow we'll have to trick them into confessing." "How?" said Allegra bluntly. "Captain Villain," I said. "I know this might sound crazy, but I'm pretty sure that cat is psychic." Jasper snorted. I glared at him. "Didn't you see Captain Villain lead us out to where the body was yesterday? He sat on the concrete right over where it was buried." "That's true," Jasper said grudgingly. "But really, a psychic cat?" "You might not be able to hear him speaking, but I can," I said. "It'll never be enough," said Allegra. "You really think Hawk Hardwick is going to take your word when you say that you know what you know because a psychic cat has told you?" I nodded. "I agree with you. He won't. Agent Constantine's already told me that a cat can't be a witness to things, but all I'm saying is that if we can get the four of them here— "5, said Allegra. "James the ex-boyfriend as well, remember?" I shook my head. "I don't think he was in on it. Captain Villain already said that he saw James getting drunk on the beach the night that Lily was killed, so it can't have been him." "Are we really going to take the word of a cat?" said Jasper. "It's not like the cat has got any skin in this game," I said. Jasper snorted with laughter. "Even so," said Allegra, "Agent Constantine would never take a cat's word as an alibi." She couldn't help but laugh as she said it. "I'm not expecting him to," I said. "All I'm saying is that the three of us can take Captain Villain's word about James's alibi. But if you'd rather question James anyway, whoever goes to find Captain Villain can also see if James is still sleeping on that beach and ask him to come up here too. He can be part of this, but I don't think it was him." "I can go and find the cat," volunteered Allegra. "You should stay indoors in the warmth, Esme. It'll only take one of us." I nodded, grateful for her overprotectiveness for once. I couldn't have gone out into the midday sun even if I had wanted to, and I had been hoping one of them would volunteer. "And I'll get Oberon and his friends here," said Jasper. "I'll go and find them and figure out a way to persuade them to come to the cafe." "I don't think you'll need a ruse," I said. "You can tell them straight up that we've found the weapon. I bet the killer will want to come to try and steal it. We'll get them talking, and Captain Villain can tell us if he senses anything. He said that Lily's spirit has been wafting around. Maybe she'll appear and remember who the killer was." Even as I said it, it all sounded a bit airy-fairy and like it needed a lot of pieces coming together. I wasn't sure we would be that lucky. "We have to try," I said. The other two nodded. "The nerve of trying to frame my cousin," Allegra spat. "I am not having you going to prison because of one of them. My money is on Lorcan Hardwick. Or Oberon." An unhappy look came onto my face, and she saw it. "I know you like Oberon," she said, "but let's face it, he is a vampire. Vampires are unpredictable. They're undead. It's not like we living people can really understand their motivations or why they do things." "You're being prejudiced," I said shortly. "People don't ask to be made into vampires." "I agree it's not their fault that they get made into vampires," she said. "At least not the fault of the ones who didn't want it, because some of them do want it. You know that. Do they? I said. Some of them have been under the influence of mesmerism for so long that they don't even have a choice anymore. Not really. It's like a narcotic, isn't it? It doesn't matter, said Jasper quietly. The truth is that once it's done, once a person becomes a vampire, it changes them. They're not like normal people anymore. That's just a fact. Why must we lump all vampires in together? I said heatedly. They're all different. They're individuals. Individuals aren't accountable for the actions of the masses. There's a reason for people's prejudice against vampires, Allegra insisted. Esme, you know that vampires don't have the same emotions that we have. They're like sociopaths. They're entirely selfish. They do bad stuff sometimes just because they want to. We normal people can't figure out why Oberon might have done it. Oberon isn't a vampire, I insisted. He's a dampire. It's different. He's not fully undead. He does have emotions, I'm sure of it. He was so heartbroken over what happened to Lily. But that's the mark of a sociopath, said Allegra. They're really good at faking emotions. I don't think he is, I said stubbornly. I don't know who did this, but I'll be glad if it's not Oberon. We should keep an open mind about it, said Jasper firmly. I nodded. And anyway, Captain Villain doesn't take sides with different species of people. He doesn't care. He'll tell us the truth. Allegra and Jasper left shortly afterwards. Allegra to go hunt down James the werewolf and Captain Villain in Kitten Cove, and Jasper to persuade Oberon and his friends to come over to Mansion House. We agreed to meet again in an hour. I was jittery with nerves. Soon it would be over. Soon Lily's spirit would be at rest, and I would no longer have the threat of being arrested hanging over me, and I could focus on sorting out my own big problem. I couldn't wait to see Agent Constantine's face when I brought the killer to him. Ha! Silly, maybe, but after what he had put me through last night, I wanted that satisfaction. I wasn't weak and pathetic. I was every bit as good at life as he was. The problem was sometimes not even the best laid of plans worked out, especially when it involved cats. Jasper arrived on the hour saying that he had persuaded the others to meet him here, and they would be arriving soon. Allegra arrived later than expected. She had not had so much luck. She hadn't been able to find James the werewolf, who had not been at Kitten Cove. But even worse, there had been no sign of Captain Villain either. We were going to have to do this on our own, and none of us had any idea how. Hi, you've reached the end. Comment the code words Veronica Mars saw it first to confuse everyone who hasn't reached this part of the story yet. Thanks for playing along.